Nation. The hobby is the people. Weekly news and interviews. It's your number one source. Sports Card Nation. The hobby is the people. Sports Card Nation.
What is up, everybody? Episode 185 of Sports Card Nation. Got a great guest today, Victor Roman, the rookie card specialist. And as his name indicates, we're going to talk about rookie cards, right? The great debate. What's a true rookie card? Used to be easy back in the vintage days, but now it's become a little more muddied waters. And Victor's got a great perspective on it. Did a lot of work, put in a lot of work on the topic. And, you know, he says there's middle ground if the Players Association and the card companies want to really do it. That's the problem, right? They used to sort of play by the rules, and now it's sort of like the Wild Wild West. So we're going to talk to Victor, obviously, about all that, how the NIL may even make those waters even more muddier, what he thinks of that, and other topics as well. And great conversation with Victor. Before we get to the show, a couple programming notes. With the National coming up, I'm trying to get really organized with my schedule. So I want to kind of tell you what's coming up here even after this week. So on July 1st, we're going to have Mike Steveline from This Baseball Card Life. And we talked to Victor about the Baseball Card Hall of Fame. Mike Steveline's also involved with that as well. So that'll be a topic we talked to both gentlemen about today with Victor and next week with Mike. And on July 8th, my buddy Mike Moynihan will join us, and we're going to break down the National by the day. We're going to go through each day, give you all the autograph guest tips, what to expect each day, how each day might be different from the next and the one before, and tips, tricks, and maybe even how to save a little money and that sort of thing. We're gonna deep dive the National. It's a preview show that I usually do by myself every year, and I said, you know what? Let's have a little fun and have someone else on the program that loves the show as much as I do, and Mike qualifies for that. So we're gonna have fun, kind of dissecting the National. That'll be July 8th. And speaking of National, on July 15th, Dr. James Beckett will be coming on the show. Dr. Jim has the honor and accolades of attending every National that's ever happened. He's not missed a one, and so what I like to do is pick Dr. Jim's brain, and as someone has only been to 3 or 4 and not in all recent, I want to know what the National were like back in the day, right? That famous line, back in the day. What were they like back then in relation to now? How have they progressed? And I actually want to ask him about the first one ever, what it was like, what was sort of, people's thoughts about it, and that. So we're going to take a trip back in time for a National retrospective, and Dr. Jim's going to share, the National through the years. That's going to be fun. On the 22nd, Mr. David Moody is going to be scheduled. I'm not gonna. He's got something that's very interesting. I'll leave it at that. I kind of tease on our social media what he's going to talk about, and that's it for now. So we're all set through July 22nd, and I just wanted to do some house cleaning there. So with that being said, let's get this show started.
Time for our Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week.
This is King NASCAR from the NASCAR Radio Podcast. And remember, the hobby is the people.
If you'd like to be the Hobby is the People Announcer of the Week, do a WAV or MP3 file and send it to sportscardnationpc@gmail.com.
Like the athletes we admire, the Sports Card Shop is changing the game. We're not launching threes, bombing drives, or hitting dingers, but we have built a unique gathering spot for all collectors to trade cards, talk sports, play games, and watch their favorite athletes on the big screens. Yes, we've partnered with Panini, Upper Deck, Leaf, Topps, Fanatics, Pokemon, and others to bring you all the latest in sealed wax and singles. But the Sports Card Shop in New Buffalo, Michigan is much, much more. Our recent expansion brings collectible sneakers, Hot Wheels, and more sports and entertainment memorabilia into the mix. Our new Collector's Cave game room is the perfect place to throw a rip party, bring friends, rip packs, trade cards, play billiards, ping pong, shuffleboard, classic arcade, and Xbox games, all while watching your favorite sport on TV. Visit us at thesportscardshop.com. Follow us on social @_sportscardshop, or better yet, visit us in person to learn about special events, party packages, new products, and everything we're doing for you. The Sports Card Shop, connecting people, sports, and the hobby around the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time. The show starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Are you ready? It's showtime.
All right, happy to have my next guest on the Sports Card Shop at Moco guest line. He's been referred to as the rookie card specialist, and we're definitely going to talk about that, but none other than Victor Roman. Welcome.
Hey, John, thank you for having me on, man. I'm excited. I've been listening to your podcast for a couple years now anyways, and it's always like, man, what would I say if I ever had a chance to be on the Sports Card Nation, and it's pretty cool. I'm honored to be here with you.
Well, I'm honored to have you. That feeling is mutual. And here, I got to say this because it's, how often does this occur? We're recording this an hour later than we originally had intended because, unfortunately, thankfully you're okay, but at one point you were dealing with a tornado warning and some severe weather, and so we pushed it back an hour, and here you are, and I want to shout out you there for still doing it, albeit an hour late, and that's definitely understandable. And glad you're here. So real quick, I know it's the basic, boring kind of podcast starter question, if you will, but just kind of how you got into the hobby, just to kind of set a baseline for those that may not know.
Yeah, it's one of them things that it's really a progression. But in 1981 is when I started collecting, and I was 10 years old back then. And I guess what it comes down to is I grew up in what we call the rookie card boom, which started in 1984 and lasted all throughout the 80s and even part of the 90s. And so, we're talking my young years between 10 and 20 years old. And it was all about the rookie card back then for me. And so I continued to collect all through the 80s. And in 1994, I decided to become a dealer. And I started doing card shows all throughout the Northwest Indiana region and was loving it. It was just a blast doing card shows and that sort of thing. And I continued heavily into that. And come around 2001, I started getting a little frustrated with the hobby. And really what was the cause of my frustration was the amount of product that was being manufactured and released at the time. And I just felt like with Albert Pujols and Ichiro Suzuki and this whole transition of autograph cards and memorabilia cards that were going on, there was just a flurry of product that was being released. And as a dealer / collector, I'm trying to keep up. And the problem with that is I'm a married man with a career I had to think of as well. And I have 5 children. And so it got to the point by 2003, I tapped out. I left the hobby, and by early 2004, I sold everything I had to a friend of mine. And so I put the hobby down in 2004 and just decided to, I need to prioritize my life. I need to, I need to stay home and help my wife raise our children. And so that's what I did. And for 10 years, I stepped away from the hobby. Now, in 2014, I came back to the hobby. By this time, my kids are established. My kids are, they got their own jobs now. They're going to college, and the wife and I, we progressed in our careers, and so we're starting to have a little bit more discretionary income. And I was talking with a friend of mine. He's somewhat of a mentor friend of mine, and because I just felt I was in a season of my life where I just felt a little dry,
Mm.
And he advised me, man, what about, don't you have any hobbies? I mean, I've known you for years and all you do is work. He said, you need a hobby, So, okay. So I set out to, I did fishing and I did golfing and I tried several other things. And I said, man, it just didn't really do it. And then I remembered sports cards, baseball cards. And so I came back to the hobby in 2014, and I started first with breaks, right? Because I'm trying to get up to snuff with the 10 years that I missed. And I started getting into breaks, but I found out that, it wasn't really I didn't have a lot of luck with breaks. So I started buying collections, and I was going on Facebook and then going to yard sales. I was having a blast doing that, but it was exciting, but it just wasn't really doing it. And then I remembered the last thing that I was into before I left the hobby was rookie cards of Hall of Famers and PSA slabs. And so I picked up on that again, and I found set registries, and the rest is history, man. I just got caught up with that. And that's my main focus today is rookie cards of Hall of Famers.
Yeah. And I do the same thing. That's my PC. Like you, we have similar backgrounds. I still do shows as a dealer, and I think we're around the same age, or we're in the same neighborhood anyway. And so you bring up a great point. People ask me, John, why do you like vintage better than modern? And just for the record, I do both, but I'm more partial to vintage for something you kind of said in there. Is with vintage, you didn't have 150 rookies of said player, right? We
Right.
know what the card is. We know 1960 tops is Yaz's rookie year. We know 59 Bob Gibson, 55 Koufax can go. We can do this all day with all these Hall of Famers. Is really, for the most part, I mean, there's some exceptions, but there's usually just one rookie. You mentioned, kind of started in the 80s. Even then, there's more than one rookie with Topps, Fleer, and Donruss. But now you're only dealing with 3 cards at
Right.
a time, right? Instead of one brand now, one company. Now we got Fanatics now, kind of being the big bully on the block, so to speak. But
Yeah.
before that licensing changeover, you had 3 or 4 companies, but Topps is, let's be honest, and it's just 40 different baseball products in the same calendar year. And so whoever that rookie was for that year of card releases, you're going to have potentially 40 or more, you know what I mean, rookie cards. And to me, that makes it difficult, you know what I mean, and confusing. I didn't, maybe even more worse than difficult, makes it just confusing. Like, which one do I want? Oh, I like this one. Oh, wait, I didn't see that one. And it can be daunting for someone who's maybe player collecting, prospecting, rookie chasing, whatever category they fill. And that's why I like the vintage. When you're, like you, I do collect graded Hall of Fame rookie cards. And it's nice knowing, hey, that's the one I got to get. There's one. That's the year. That's the release. Whatever sport, right? 1958 Topps in football. Jim Brown's rookie year. Gretzky has one rookie card. Now you got to pick your poison, Topps or O-Pee-Chee, but it's still basically the same card. And so it's just a lot simpler to knock things off your list and check them off your list than it ever would be today. I always say this, Victor, I'm glad I kind of grew up in the card age that I did, because you appreciate that living it than those younger folks today that don't. They can still experience those cards, still exist, but we were literally, around when those releases came out. So,
Right.
I think there's something to be said about that. Going to step aside for a quick break, but we'll be right back with more from Victor Roman.
Iron Sports Cards is your #1 source for all your PSA and other grading submissions. Their elite status improves turnaround times. Heck, they even provide the card savers. Their chat rooms provide updates on all your submissions. They also offer wax options and single cards to cover all the bases. Check them out on Facebook at Iron Sports Cards Group or on the web at ironsportscards.com. Or even give them a call at 1-877-IRON-PSA. Rob's got you covered.
Sports Card Nation is back with more from Victor. Now, speaking of rookies, I know that's something that's centralized to you and a main focus of your content. And it's the age-old debate. That's the other thing too. We didn't even get into with Bowman releases now and first Bowman. It's so muddied. The waters are so muddied. People are not sure what a rookie card is anymore. And people ask me, and I've done this almost 40 years, and it's hard to give them a straight answer, because if you ask 10 people of a hobby to define a rookie card, you'll probably get 6 different explanations or 6 different definitions. That to me is crazy, from growing up in the era I did, where it was just a simple answer, right? That first card that was released, and we're not in that era anymore. So I know you wanted to talk about kind of the way you dissect it, your dissertation, and I'm gonna, we're about, again, the same age. I'm most likely gonna be waving that pennant, but go ahead.
Yeah, this is kind of where it all started for me when I came back in 2014. Okay, now I'm a big Chicago Cubs fan, and my wife and I, we're big baseball fans, but I was wanting to get rookie cards of Chris Bryant and Javier Baez and Francisco Lindor and those guys. And I was excited to go shopping for those cards. And I get on eBay for the first time in a really long time. And I punch in these guys' rookie cards, and I'm looking at Francisco Lindor and Javi Baez, and everything on the eBay listings for like the last 5 years says rookie card on it. And I'm thinking to myself, now I know I've been gone for 10 years, but something is definitely missing here. I'm not getting it, and so I'm trying to do some homework, and I'm opening up these auctions and taking a look at the cards. And I still, man, everything from like 2010 to 2015 said it was a rookie card. But I did notice that some of them had a little RC logo on them. And I'm like, that's different. What's that about? And so I started digging into this topic of the logo, and I started asking questions on hobby forums, and I started researching the internet and articles and trying to find out what has happened to the rookie card. And what I found a lot of people just like me, confused and frustrated with the state of the rookie card in the hobby. And so this just inspired me to dig more and more into this topic. And I was getting excited with the things that I found. And I started a website in 2016, and that became my platform. And I started writing articles on my findings of what I was researching and trying to basically put this puzzle piece together on how the rookie card has evolved over the course of the decades. And what I found was just it inspired me then to continue this on and start a YouTube channel. And this is how come the rookie card specialist I get poked fun of by my friends, but that's more of a marketing thing, because
they can poke fun at you, Victor, but let's keep it real. I'm gonna give you some props. But like you said, you're putting in the work, doing the research, trying to get to the bottom of this. It's not like you're not doing that and then giving yourself the title, right? That's easy. Yeah. Anyone can do that, but you're doing the grind and trying to figure out what happened, where we go, and what's going on here. So yeah, man, I think you wear that badge with honor, because you earned it. You're putting in the work. Too many people like to coin themselves things, and then that's where the work kind of ends. Yeah. Is that they like the title, but they don't want to kind of earned a belt, so to speak. So,
Yeah.
In your defense, I know you won't say it yourself. I'll say it for you. You've put in that work above and beyond. I think most people. I don't know. I don't know everybody out there, but
Yeah.
you're right there with really doing that research and putting in that effort to try to kind of dissect what's going on here. But
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, no, and what I ended up finding out at one of the hobby forums, I was asking questions and I found a couple of threads on the topic, and somebody responded to me and said, "Look up Beckett Baseball Card Magazine, issue number 247, October of 2005, and that's going to help explain it to you." And so I sought that issue out and I purchased it, and that issue explained the takeover of the Players Association as they gave the industry a set of standards to go by for the rookie card, because the PA got involved because at that time there was a lot of what they called consumer confusion. And there was a lot of confusion because the manufacturers were getting these players into the sets earlier and earlier and earlier. They were not only draft picks, they were not only prospects, but we were getting these guys in high school, and they were creating rookie cards of them and putting them into the set, and they never stepped foot inside of a Major League Baseball game. And so that is when the PA stepped in and said, "Look, we're going to have to give some guidelines here, some standards on how the rookie card is going to look going forward." And so they released a press release, and there was some articles on Beckett about it. But they really set a set of guidelines that have really gotten forgotten about. They've been forsaken by the hobby over the course of the years. But here's the real rub, John, and here's what I've really come to understand, is that the hobby has a set of guidelines also. So we have two sets of guidelines, but they don't talk to each other. And the card manufacturers don't follow what the hobby guidelines are. We want them to. I want them to desperately listen to the standards that the hobby has, that we've had for decades, that Dr. Beckett and his team established. But so we have two sets of standards that's causing a bunch of confusion because they're not speaking to one another. So with that said, it comes down to what my proposal is, okay, is that the rookie card needs reform. And that's really at the mission and the purpose of my content. Is I look at the past and present day status of the rookie card, all in an effort to better understand the future of this hobby icon. And the rookie card logo, this brand, it is a cultural icon in our hobby, but we don't understand it, and we really should.
Yeah, it's going to get even more crazy. We're going to talk about something else, but you're right. It's like the Wild Wild West. I mean, that would, it's like they're like one side believes it should be this way, the other side says, "Hey, we don't care. We're going to do it the way we want to do it. We're the sheriff in town, and here's what you get." And like you said, there's no communication. There's no sort of meet in the middle. There's no sort of compromise.
Time to hear from one of our great sponsors, but Sports Card Nation will be right back after that.
Pastime Marketplace has a line of graded card cases that are waterproof, airtight, dust tight, and hardened to protect and organize your valuable collection. Each of our cases come with pre-cut and pre-formed foam, so you don't have to cut and tear the foam when you get your case. The pre-cut foam inserts are sized to hold PSA, Beckett, SGC, and CGS slabs. Store it all safely and securely with a case from Pastime Marketplace. Check them out at www.pastimemarketplace.com.
Thanks for sticking with us. Let's return to the show.
So I'll ask you. I mean, point blank. I think your answer is going to, agree with how I feel. What do you consider in your rule? You know what I mean? According to Victor, what is the rookie? Is it the first card? Once the player cracks a big league field, is it the first card produced? I mean, what is it to you?
Yeah, I ended up it's really not what it is to me. It's really what's been established, and we have to look at. And I created a list, and I call it the 10 Commandments of the rookie card.
Yep.
And the first 5 of those rookie card guidelines are what the PA gave us back in 2005, and they basically gave us a format. And then Commandments 6 through 10 are what the hobby has declared as rookie card guidelines. And I've created this list of 10 things that it should be, and some of them are that we've used them for decades. That a rookie card should come from a base set, that it should be in pack form, nationally distributed, and what's the other? Let me find my list here. I'm kind of
and well, let me ask you this: while you're looking for that too, what do you consider? Like, what are your thoughts on? Obviously there's Bowman draft, and they're putting these guys on cards when they're 4 or 5 years away from the major league, potentially. Like you said, even you mentioned, Javi Baez's cards were rookies for 5 years. What do you, in terms of your collecting and your rules, what do you view like all these first Bowmans as?
I don't have an issue with the Bowman prospect line, because none of those cards have a rookie card identifier on them. And they shouldn't, because that's what the guidelines state, and they do a good job at following the rules that the guidelines established. And none of those prospect cards or none of those prospect products have a rookie card identifier, so I technically don't have an issue with those. Now, what I have done is I have adopted the principles that the concept that COMC does. And to me, it's genius. When I found this, the light bulb just came on for me, because I think that the hobby should follow something that COMC has established for years. And that is a pre-rookie card identifier, a rookie card identifier, and a rookie year identifier. And if we can begin to understand the guidelines just a little bit, we can then properly identify each card that we're looking at. And the concept is brilliant. So Bowman draft and those sorts of things, those are pre-rookie cards.
Yeah.
And they don't have a rookie card identifier, as they shouldn't.
I think the confusion for most will be the rookie year cards and the rookie cards themselves. So for those listening, kind of differentiate. How do we differentiate between rookie year and rookie card?
Great question. I'm really glad you asked that question. And this is where the waters get muddied between old school collectors and young collectors. Because old school collectors, our traditions have been that an insert card is not a rookie card. COMC has established those types of cards as rookie year cards. And so what happens today? That's the hobby's guidelines, but manufacturers don't follow hobby guidelines.
You see that talking about that RC logo.
They put that thing on
those insert parallels.
They put it on everything.
Everything.
It's plastered with the RC insignia, and it's not the way it's been. And so that's the differentiator there, is that rookie year cards, which constitutes, anything that is an insert card, an on-demand card, a subset card, anything of that sort should be identified as a rookie year. It was produced and released in its rookie year, but it does not qualify because it does not have the other qualifying factors to be considered a true rookie card. It doesn't come from the base set and those sorts of things.
Yeah, no, I agree. And, we talked about that in the open, right? How compared to vintage, a player could have 40 rookies today. That's not even including those subsets that have the RC. If you want to include those,
right
now a rookie could have potentially, especially a highly touted rookie, because they're putting them in all those subsets ahead of schedule based on height. A guy today could have 100 different, air quotes, rookie cards.
Hey, John,
Yeah.
Shohei Ohtani was a rookie in 2018.
Yep.
Looking at the database, Shohei Ohtani has 2,870 cards produced in 2018, all of them with a rookie card insignia.
Yeah.
So he has what? Is that what the hobby? He has 2,800 rookie cards.
And that's why I don't collect Shohei. Like, I like Shohei Ohtani, but that's why I'd never be like a super collector. Like, to be a super collector today, people used to, chase rainbows before they got really off the rails. I mean, now to do a rainbow, there's 40 different cards to do that. It's really crazy. And I don't think that, to me, my opinion, that's all it is. I don't think that's good. I think that sort of is kind of for someone sort of coming in the hobby, especially if you're coming back. Let's say you're like us and you left, and then you're coming back and you know it the way it was. This is going to be some rough waters to navigate through, because like you said, you had this like, what happened here? What's going on? Yeah. Let me get to the bottom of it. Like, at least you had the gusto to say, hey, I got to figure this out. There's going to be some that probably said, you know what, I'm out again. Like, this is just, I'm not going to deal with this. I hate to see people leave. I like people in the hobby. That's how the hobby thrives and gets better. But I'm sure there's a few people that just on that alone said, hey, this is just too confusing. I'm going to play poker. I'm going to do golf, whatever other vice, they said, I don't need to be confused there. I know when I hit a bad shot or a good shot. I know when I got a good hand or a bad hand. I don't have to guess about it. And that's where we are. And I mean, I credit to you to try to, I know you care, you're passionate about trying to sort this out. But, a lot of it's got to come, with all the work you're doing too, Victor, this, a lot of it's got to come from the manufacturers too, as far as following rules, acknowledging rules first and then following them, second. We've sort of lost that.
Time for a quick break, but we'll be right back.
Are you a new sports cards collector or someone returning to the hobby? Maybe you're just looking for a friendly, trustworthy hobby community to hang out with and enjoy collecting. Midwest Box Breaks has been bringing collectors together for many years with affordable breaks, helpful threads, and a Discord group packed with generous people who genuinely care about the hobby and other collectors. Check out the breaks at MidwestBoxBreaks.com. Our goal is to bring you as much value as possible. Also, find us on Twitter at MidwestBoxBreaks.
Hey folks, John here. Just wanted to remind you, use the discount code MBB10 for 10% off your first order at MidwestBoxBreaks.com.
We are back.
And now it's, I want to segue into this. Now we got the NIL, Fanatics / Topps just announced a collegiate deal where they can, produce cards of men and women on the university level and college level, obviously before they get to the pros. They can now even make, I think the biggest news out of that, the biggest takeaway, we talked a little bit about this on the Hobby Hotline episode, is now they can make, even Topps Now of these men and women athletes. And, there's going to be people that will argue that first Topps Now card, especially if that Topps Now card is produced, let's say before, here we go with the base card stuff, before their first appearance in a Bowman University product, there will be some that will die on that hill, Victor, and say, this is their first ever card. This is the true rookie. This is the one. If this athlete, pans out on the professional level in 2, 3 or more years, this is the card everyone's got to come back and get. It's the first ever appearance. I think is a lot of it comes from the comic book side too, right? When we see like superheroes in comics or characters in comic books, a lot of times they're not even in their own book first. They kind of appear in another line of comics, and it's the first appearance of this character. That that book becomes highly collectible. And then just the same, when they get their own comic book, the first issue is also. I see sort of a parallel there. As crazy as it seems, comics and cards aren't really compared a lot, but I think in this regard, I think I can see the parallel there.
Yeah.
And with your criteria, I know, and I kind of agree with you that using that Tops Now example, you're not going to view that as a rookie card. You're gonna say, hey, when that's in the base set. But now here's the second dilemma. I'm throwing all this stuff at you.
Yeah.
Bowman University product comes out, whatever year, whatever, and now that same person that was on that Tops Now card a year or two before now has a regular, base card, if you will, numbered, 117 in the set. Now there's obviously colored parallels and all that jazz, but it has a regular, they have a regular base card, and then some are going to say, hey, that's the first. I know they're not in the big leagues yet or on the professional circuit, whatever the sport, but here's their first base card. This is their rookie. Now, Bowman University is going to have that first Bowman logo that we're, probably the second or third famous logo, right? We got the RC, then rated rookie, and then probably first Bowman, whatever order you want to put them in. And so you're going to have that camp, right? That side saying, hey, this is, first base card out of a pack, out of a box. This is their true rookie. And I know you're going to say, hey, first, I think you're going to say first win a pro uniform. And as many. And I'm at the point I don't even know anymore. Like, I'm so confused. I don't know what to pick. I kind of just, I'm frustrated with, like, let's just go back to the way it was. And it's that first card where they're in their professional uniform.
Yeah. No, and
ready. But go ahead. Yep.
And what we need is structure, right? We need boundaries and we need ordinance, but that can't come from the hobby. The hobby is too big and there's too many subjective opinions on what a rookie card is. That's how come we need a legal authority. And that legal authority, this type of leadership, this type of rookie card guidelines should be coming from the Players Association. And they should be keeping the manufacturers accountable in clearing up these muddied waters. Now, I've always been of the opinion, in your PC, you can call whatever card you want. If you want to call a fifth-year card a rookie card, that's your card in your collection. Nobody can tell you, doggone it, what a rookie card is, because that's what you think it is, right? Hobby. The hobby is the people, brother, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Here's my proposal. In your PC, you call it whatever you want. But when we're dealing with eBay listings, call it what it is. Call it what it is and not what you want it to be. But what is it? Well, that's what I think needs to be established. This is why I believe the rookie card needs to go under reform. It's something that Dr. Beckett and his team has always made little tweaks and changes and progressed the definition of a rookie card. But since 2005, there hasn't been any update to the rookie card guidelines. So
obviously we know that Fanatics is got most of the major sports with the exception of hockey retained by Upper Deck. They have a very good, at this point today, as the time we're talking, they have a great relationship with the Players Association. They have an equity seat at a table like they've never had before. I guess I can look. I guess it's like a two-sided coin there. I can look at that and make a case either way. I don't know if that's good or bad when it comes to having sort of these rookie card rules. Is the Player Association just saying, you know what, Fanatics, we're making out like bandits on this deal. We're getting paid. Our players are getting paid more than they've ever had before when it comes to the card industry. Do whatever the heck you want to do. Don't do nothing too crazy where we have to like make a comment on it, but go to town. Or do you think they care enough, like they did, like you mentioned, in the early 2000s to kind of maybe set some ground lines. I mean, what do you think happens here with the new landscape?
I wish I knew, but it's probably going to be, more of the same. I mean, they basically, here's what I believe is a big issue is the hobby doesn't have a seat at the table. When it comes to agreements between the Players Association and manufacturers, there's nobody there that represents the hobby. In an essence, I jokingly say that the hobby needs a union. We need to unionize.
Yeah. No, you're right. We don't have really a voice. No. I always say on the show, Victor, our voice is in how we spend our money, right?
There you go.
We speak with our wallets and bank accounts. And if something's bad, if we need to again, I'm not trying to sabotage it, but speak with your spending habits. If you don't like what a company, a brand is doing, don't support it, right? And but the hobby's gotten so big that even if there is a faction that says, you know what, I'm not buying, company A's products no more. They did something terrible. The hobby's just so big that there's going to be, 65% that either doesn't know what happened or / knows and doesn't care. Like, whatever. I'm just see dollar signs, and if I can make a few bucks on this deal, I don't care what company A does, even though it bothered somebody else. I just want to make a few bucks, and that's where I think we've gotten off the rails a little bit as a hobby in general.
And John, don't get me wrong. I don't want a narrow definition of a rookie card, okay? Because that's not good. But neither is too broad of a definition. Yeah, and I believe that's the way the PA guidelines were written in 2005. We went from a more narrow definition because that's what the hobby wanted, but now it's just blown wide open where they're very what I call vague, and so it allows the manufacturers so much wiggle room to create all of these little gimmick sets and all of these little. We create gray area and we create. Well, wait a minute. Why did they release the Acuna with the bat down and the bat up? And then why did they put them in update? And so we start questioning, and we have no answers. We just confused. And so.
But listen, the answer is what these companies will do, and I get it. They're a business. On one hand, I'll defend them to a certain length, but it's about dollar signs, right? Well, how do we hype this product? How do we get a buzz going, right? Hey, let's make 2 editions, right? One's going to be a real short print where everyone chases it, right? Opens more wax. Breakers will want more products. So I think it's going to take, company almost now that says, you know what, we care about, our consumer. I think it's been, I think Upper Deck's probably the closest to doing that, and they do a fairly good job about that. But it's, I'd like to see, Fanatics hasn't really got fully underway, but when they do, I hope it's not just. I know they spend a lot of money on the licensing, and money's going to be the number one factor. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I think they're being disingenuous, and I get that. But I hope it's more than just that, Victor. You know what I mean? I get it has to be that, but like you said, maybe there's a place where they can meet in the middle and say, listen, we have to make money, but we also care about the hobby we're producing stuff in, and here's kind of how we see this debate and how we maybe want to meet in that middle, so to speak, as you said. And I don't know if I gun to head, I don't know if I expect that, truth be told, but you like to wishful think, right, that some smart people on that side of the aisle will say, hey, if we're going to be in this for 20 years like this licensing deal is, let's try to make more friends than enemies, and let's try to figure this out. And I hope that's where they fall. I don't know. We're all speculating at this point.
Someone's at my door. I've got to get that. Be right back.
Hey everybody, have you heard about Collectible? It's the one-stop shop where any collector can buy and trade affordable shares in some of the most rare and valuable sports cards and memorabilia in the world, starting from just $5. From 1952 Mickey Mantle PSA 10s and Wilt Chamberlain's iconic rookie uniform to one-of-one Patrick Mahomes RPAs, rare LeBron James logo mans, and everything in between, Collectible is creating never-before-seen access and opportunities for all. Let's grow the hobby we love together. Please note this is not a recommendation or solicitation to buy any security. All investment decisions should be undertaken after doing your own research.
We are back.
What I've seen in the last, 5-10 years doesn't lead me to believe, like you kind of mentioned, that we're going to see this moment. But you can hope, and you never know, right? We've seen some crazy stuff in this hobby that neither one of us would have ever predicted, right? We talk about the generation we come from, right? When we used to open packs when we were younger, right? If you would have told our younger selves then that, hey, someday we're going to pay someone else to like open our packs on a video screen and then just send us our cards, right? We don't even get the adrenaline rush of opening our stuff. We just watch someone else do it, And I would have thought you were nuts, right? At the time, right? Heck, when I had packs, I don't know about you. I've said this on the show, and my friends were like, either they didn't have any or they opened theirs already, and maybe had a few more. Hey, let me open one of yours. I'm like, no, either I said you open yours already or get your own, right? I didn't even want, and yet here we are watching people open, our packs, our boxes, our cases, and just sending us if we get anything. That's the other thing, like you were talking about. There's no guarantee that you're going to have a successful. So if you would have told me then, I would have thought you're nuts. So who knows what's on the horizon? Who knows?
It's hard. It's hard to speculate. I really shy away from speculating because it's just there's so much going on. There's so many pieces to the puzzle. Now we're adding the collegiate side of things. And it's to try to predict what's going to happen next is difficult.
Yeah, and if listen, you know where I'm going. And if you're going to be very, very rich because you're going to be ahead of the trend. All right, let's end on a higher note. Not that was terrible, but we're in the 30s. But when this comes out, we're going to be 30 plus days away from the National in Atlantic City, where there'll be some rookie cards in the building and some non-rookie cards in the building. Just kind of speak to, what you're looking for, what you're looking forward to. I mean, I don't want to say you're looking for a certain card. Now you got 10 people trying to get it before you, but kind of just what you're looking forward to it with being so close to the National here. Victor.
Yeah, I've been using the National platform I've been putting together a PSA set registry of Roberto Clemente's Topps run, or his what they call a basic set registry, which entails 20 cards, and it's going to give you 19 Topps cards and the 1963 Fleer is also in there. Well, I have 12 of the 20, and I've been trying to put that one together for several years now, but I've been trying to do it. I'm trying to purchase the most expensive copy that I can afford, because that's going to be a key piece of my PC, and I want it to be of the highest quality within my budget. So I still need 8 cards to complete that set, and I'm going to go into the National looking to pick up 1 or 2 pieces for that registry. I'm a big Michael Jordan fan, and so I'm always looking out for Michael. And of course, I love my slab boxes, bargain boxes for slabs, and I start plucking rookie cards like there's no tomorrow. So that's usually my game plan going in.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a great point, and that's a great game plan. And I'm going to be doing like a preview show with the National with Mike Moynihan coming up here in a few weeks. And but going in there kind of with sort of intentions of mine sometimes can be helpful. Now, sometimes maybe flying by the seat of your pants can be fun too. But I like to kind of go in. I'm doing my PC like we talked about is graded Hall of Famer rookie. So I tend to go in with like 6 cards on my kind of target list. And my goal is to, when the show's over, have 2 of those crossed out. Three would be even more successful. But 2 was sort of the goal, and anything past 2, again, obviously budget's a factor, but anything past 2, I'll be very ecstatic. And obviously, I think if meeting people for the first time, meeting people again, that's always fun. You almost need a day just to do that for that matter. And so
you picked up a few grails already this year.
I did, which is why I'm gonna have less money to spend at the National. So that, I hear you. That 6 card target list I mentioned, if I pull 2 cards out of there, that will be an accomplishment. And at least one. I'll say this: I got to get one. That's the minimum. It's like a fishing, right? It'll be a bad day fishing if you come home with nothing in your bucket. So I'm going in with 1, hopeful for 2. 3 is going to be a long shot. But yeah, you're right. That and the last 3, that I got in Dallas were sort of, I don't want to say unexpected. They were, but like I wasn't really planning on it. But 2 of them were in the same showcase and negotiated. The price was
they fell in your lap, right?
Yeah, too good to just walk away from it. But I tell you right now, I have, we talk about government spending freezes. I have a self-appointed sort of freeze between now and the National, and to kind of catch up on those bills so that we can spend again in Atlantic City. I'm sure I'll get I'll get something. But it's fun. You gotta spend within your means too. So we can't. I'd like to get everything on my list, but I'd probably be looking for a new place to live. So that wouldn't be no fun. So, but it's coming up, and look forward to meeting you and seeing you there, and
absolutely
talking some more. Obviously, glad you're part of Hobby Hotline for those that don't know, but you are, and I'm glad to have you part of that team. And as I always give the guests on this show, Victor, take you all the time you need. Give out your YouTube channel, your website, where everyone can find out what you're doing. All that work we talked about, all that due diligence that you're doing, tackling this subject of rookie card and other stuff. That's not all you do. I don't want to make it out, but that's definitely heavy centric of your platform. But where can people find all what you're doing, all your content?
Yeah, John, I appreciate it, man. Obviously, as you said, Hobby Hotline at least once a month.
Yeah.
My YouTube channel is Victor the Rookie Card Specialist. And on my socials, you can find me on any social media platform at true_RCS. I'm sorry. Any of the social platforms at true_RCS. And that is a spinoff of my website, which is truerookiecards.com.
Yeah. If you type in Victor, the rookie card, most likely if you Google that, you're going to get probably 75% of Victor's stuff.
Yeah, and I'm also on Apple and Spotify. I forgot. I did start a podcast this year.
There you go. So no shortage of Victor, and that's obviously a good thing. Well, I appreciate you making some time for us tonight, albeit through a tornado warning or what. Yeah. And thankfully, more bark than bite there, and that's a good thing. And glad everyone's well. And we'll see you and talk soon. Thanks.
All right, John. Thank you.
I'm going to take one more quick break, and then I'll be back with some closing thoughts. Don't go away.
Check out our website at www.sportscardnationpodcast.com for the new release schedule, our blog, all show episodes, and so much more.
All right, folks, that's going to do it for this week's episode of Sports Card Nation. I want to thank my guest, Victor Roman. Very, very intelligent, and really, when we talked about this rookie debate, he not just giving his opinions, he's putting in a lot of work and research to come up with, solutions and how it's been, and how, the card companies and the player association have sort of got off track. He's not talking out as you know what. He's putting in the work and doing the due diligence, and couldn't wait to have him on. He's part of Hobby Hotline too now. Glad of that as well. So we really went into that rookie thing, but it's a serious thing, and it just, especially for new people coming in, I always get that question asked to me, John, how do I know this is a rookie? Is this a rookie? Someone will text a picture of a card. Should I get this? Is this his rookie? Is this the one that's in demand? And it's just a whole different landscape, like we talked about when I was talking to Victor, right? Back in the day, right? Everything was, in the vintage era, like there was one rookie card, right? Even in the early '80s when Fleer Donruss came along in Topps, right? There was three rookie cards, but now there could be 400 different rookie cards of a rookie in today's game. Then you get into the pre-rookie, the XRCs. Now with the NIL, they're not even drafted yet, and it's a whole new ball game, and can be confusing. Especially, heck, it's confusing to me, and I've been doing this a long time. I can imagine how confusing it is to someone new just coming into the hobby. So, Victor's got some great points, and hopefully the right people are listening. But like we said when we were talking, I got a feeling not a whole lot's going to change, unfortunately. So, thanks everyone out there for listening. We'll see you next week with Mike Steveline from This Baseball Card Life.